What's up, my friend? How's everything going?
My name is Unfocused Right, and I must confess I'm completely in the wrong here, dude. You see, way back then when I was just a mischievous, carefree kid, a bit of a wild one, always getting into some kind of trouble, a real playful scamp full of childish antics and silly games, I was eating candy from out of the candy cane vending machine. And then quite unexpectedly, boom, one bizarre day, a large aggressive crow suddenly flew down and struck me hard right on my head. Then, unbelievably, it actually masturbated all over that disgusting mess. And I went back home completely devastated, just bawling my eyes out to my mommy, and she, without a hint of compassion, just looked at me and said, "Listen here, you need to toughen up, you little whiner. Things are only going to get significantly more difficult if you're going to be so sensitive. Imagine if you had a painful bump on your private parts, or heaven forbid, a nasty case of gonorrhea up your backside," she finished quite sternly. At that point in time, I honestly had no earthly idea what my mommy was even trying to tell me, but frankly, I don't give a single flying fuck about it because I am absolutely retarded as hell, and I got thick, disgusting drool just pouring right off of my stupid lips, you bitch. And then following that, I'm planning to head straight to Burger King, where I'll definitely be devouring some truly awful yet incredibly satisfying cheeseburgers along with those equally greasy and delicious fries. Yeah, and then I fucking force myself to step outside, and I start running for what feels like barely a single second, and then my energy just plummets, and I'm completely worn out so easily, and my scrotum is constantly itching. It's a persistent irritation that never seems to go away, because back then when I was really struggling to push out a big, fat, disgusting shit, I was intensely masturbating over that truly gay-ass situation. And then, after quite a few years had passed by, I felt like I had finally gathered all my thoughts and I was completely unified and rectified to finally look them in the eye and say, you know what, you absolute bitch. You're going to have to, proceed with governing this entire nation in a truly respectable and gentlemanly fashion, and there is absolutely nothing at all that you can possibly do about this particular situation until you are completely out of your current contractual agreement after these 4 long years, my friend. If you are truly hoping to pursue another second term in office, then I suppose you will definitely need to start building up a significant amount more money once again, my friend. And if you don't, then I suppose you'll find yourself quite unfortunately subjected to a most unpleasant experience when a pack of savage wild wolves, once roaming free on the dusty streets of India and now recently captured and brought here, decide to assault your anal cavity with their sharp teeth and claws. My agreement dictates my presence here within the United States for the precise moment that any goddamn individual utterly fails in their attempt to secure a re-election bid. Their goddamn testicles will be brutally ripped from their body and then fed directly to the Caucasians. You understand, bitch? Yeah, and then after all of that, my next big plan is to head straight for the magnificent redwood forests. I'm going to find a nice, secluded spot and start relieving myself all over the ancient wood just like I used to. I remember thinking it was absolutely hilarious, a riot, back when I was just a little kid, and honestly, I still find myself getting a really good, hearty chuckle out of that whole idea even now, my friend. But now I live in Portland, Oregon, and I can't escape the reality that I'm currently residing within a city's limits where, despite its relatively modest size, it's often described as a small-ass city, yet without fail, we consistently regard it as the most peculiar and unusual urban center that has ever existed. And all of the information I've gathered from those around me, it strongly indicates that this is absolutely, without a doubt, correct, bitch. And I wholeheartedly couldn't agree with you more, my friend. It was only after I truly stepped outside and genuinely realized that my life wasn't solely composed of beautiful flowers and fragrant roses, but also encompassed the harsh realities of human wastes, the struggles of the homeless, and the pervasive presence of filth and refuse. Yeah, it's just a disgusting scene everywhere you look. Garbage piled up all around, and then you have these rats just out in the open, right in the middle of a bush doing their disgusting business. It's absolutely vile, bitch. Meanwhile, the homeless people are just out there on the streets suffering, either losing all dignity by soiling themselves or screaming out their own names in utter despair, or worse, cutting themselves with the broken sharp edges of their crack pipes. It's a goddamn tragedy, bitch. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing happening over there in Shitland, Oregon, man. And when I eventually move to the next city, I'm absolutely certain that I'll be confronted with this exact same issue all over again. I truly don't understand why, but this situation is destined to repeat itself in every single corner of the United States. It's because these utterly incompetent and frankly infuriating presidents, we have simply refused to address these problems or ensure they are properly resolved and cleaned up. It's truly baffling how they first chose to decriminalize drug users, and now, in a contradictory move, they're criminalizing drugs again. What the hell is going on? Seriously, this makes no sense. Honestly, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much the situation you're dealing with in the state of Oregon, my friend. If I were truly smart enough, I honestly think I'd seriously consider packing up and moving a little bit further up north, probably somewhere like Washington, or perhaps Idaho, or even, dare I say, Montana, bitch. Or, if I were truly clever enough, I could simply board a plane and relocate to Ireland if I genuinely desired, dude. But then again, I know that won't actually happen because I'll remain here in the United States. It's far easier for me to operate and move around than it would be in practically any other country, dude. Even though Great Britain often makes these grand promises of freedom, I personally believe there's only a certain limited amount of true liberty, especially if you're not permitted to openly criticize or speak ill of your monarch, be it the king or the queen, or any other royal figure who happens to be in power at the time. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey here? Indeed. And then after that, I'm gonna listen to The Monkees and Morbid Angel and Terrorizer.
And Cannibal Corpse, and then I'm trying to think of others.
Just some really random, death metal bands that I've stumbled upon recently, like just browsing the internet. And then, of course, some classic Sarcophago and a bit of Sepultura, and then some Violator and also Volcano. Some truly authentic, raw Brazilian death metal bands. Those damn restrictive bands that always seem to kick my ass cheeks so hard every single time I begin to just pound down all that glorious fatty cheese right into my poor stomach, bitch. And then I'm going to be heading over to Kentucky. And then you observe the people from Kentucky, and you're compelled to exclaim, my God, this is absolutely ridiculous. The entire state of Kentucky is just so utterly and completely full of nonsense and utter garbage that it's genuinely hard for me to comprehend how they even attempt to portray California as being worse off than they are. And honestly, you have to believe me when I say this. Both California and, yes, even Kentucky are undeniably terrible places to live. Truly awful states.
Hey, man.
You can't possibly deny the undeniable truth that it's truly beautiful and all that other crap, but California and Kentucky are, without a doubt, the absolute gayest states in the whole entire United States of America, bitch. I actually bought myself a vacuum cleaner and I decided to call it Gary. And whenever that damn Gary starts acting up, causing trouble, I literally just toss it right into the swimming pool and then I go and make a huge mess all over the toilet seat. And this particular individual, this guy right here, he absolutely refuses to shut his damn mouth. And honestly, he's really starting to get on my last nerve. Honestly, I just want to say, screw this guy, you absolute bitch.